Hello, hello. Welcome to the PITA podcast. I decided to go live tonight to answer some outside the box questions that I found on my buddy's Facebook page on a post. So bear with me one second. I'm going to share this live real quick and take a sip of my brew. So there was a post of about 25 outside the box questions, some rhetorical questions you really had to think about. So I'm going to answer them here, at least the handful that I picked out. I think I picked out about 12 or 13 questions, so I'll go through them. All right. So if anybody joins in, they want to comment in the comments here, ask me questions or give their own answers in the questions, or if you have a mic and you want to hop in, help yourself. All right, I'm going to start with the first question. Why do most video games revolve around kills? As a video gamer, I feel like the answer to this is, especially in America, we love violence. We love fictional violence. We love non-fictional violence, real violence. I guess it's just embedded into us from movies and video games now, obviously. But it takes a certain person to actually believe that it's real and to take it seriously, okay? We all know it's not fucking serious. You're not actually killing people. If you have a brain, you know this. If you don't have a mental illness, you know that it's all fake. We're not actually going around killing people in video games. It's just what it is. I mean, it's not real violence, okay? It's like I said. I think that's why video games revolve around kills, because it sells to the consumers. Us as the consumers, us as the Americans, we like to see violence. We like true crime. We like watching war on TV. We like watching violent movies, rated R movies, whatever it may be. So yeah, that's how I feel about that one. Let me get my Google Docs up, but I'll go to the next one. The next one is definitely more outside the box. How is it that the so-called national debt, this is a political one, is growing despite tax increases? That's the first part of the question. Second part of the question is, where is the taxpayers' money going? To me, this is a pretty easy answer. The taxpayers' money, well, first off, let me answer the first part. How is the so-called national debt growing? Because we give away, we spend, we don't print out enough to replace it. There's plenty of reasons. We help out, we bail out other countries. We don't help out our homeless people. We bail out other countries. We get nothing in return. They just tax the living fuck out of us. They take our money that we earn working. They take that off us. Where's it going? Nobody really knows where the fuck it's going. It's not going in our pockets. That's for sure. It's not fixing the homeless problem. It's not doing what we want it to do. That I'm sure it's not doing what most of us wish it would do. So yeah, the answer for me is the taxpayers' money is going in political pockets. It's going in supporting people in the government. It's not helping us at all. At all. Maybe it used to, but we're past those days. Everything just keeps going up. The economy's shot. You'd think they would hand out stimulus checks at this point, since they take our money anyways. Give us some stimulus checks. Show that you're trying, America. Show, okay? Get us out of this shit. Because right now it's a fucking shit show. It's not getting any better. It's only going to get worse. So yeah, I don't like to talk about politics on this show, but when I have to, I do. Like I said, for my first episode, I'm not going to talk politics unless I have to. Okay? How is it possible, this is the next question, how is it possible that movies and cartoons like The Simpsons are able to predict certain cultural events so accurately? Smart writers, smart producers, smart companies. I mean, it's really not that hard to predict cultural stuff when you see it getting pushed before it's a major problem. Like for instance, Disney has been pushing cultural appropriations for a long time. It's the same reason there's homosexual characters in every movie or show, at least one or more. It's agenda. I mean, they push it down your throats. I mean, you have to take it. If you like entertainment, which I do and millions others do, you have to take it with a grain of salt. I mean, the cultural issues, they're everywhere. They're not going to change it up. It's going to keep happening. But if you don't think about it, it doesn't bother you. Like, I've become so used to there being a main homosexual character. But it doesn't bother me. It shouldn't bother you. Okay? Their agenda pushing, when it comes down to like violence and stuff, yeah, it should bother you. But when it comes down to the cultural events, I'm not really sure where this question was going. Like, cultural events, are they talking about riots, like the Black Lives Matter riots? If they're talking about that stuff's been done before. So yeah, it's easy to predict. It's just, it wasn't called BLM before. I mean, you had the Rodney King riots. It wasn't BLMs. It was African American people were fed up with the way they were treated, and I don't blame them, especially in the 90s. They had to do those riots because one of their own people got murdered by cops, and the cops didn't get in trouble for it. Like, I don't blame them for the rioting then. I don't. They had to get a message across. We would do the same thing. Next question. What is an Egyptian pyramid doing on a US dollar bill? I think just because Egypt is so prevalent, even in the United States, I'm going to speak for myself here, but I'm obsessed with Egypt. I'm obsessed with pyramids, how they were formed, who helped them form it. If they supposedly didn't have technology, air quotes, how do they build these amazing, amazing structures that have lasted thousands of years? How did they build it? That interests me, so I see why it's on the dollar bill. It's almost, it attracts people, okay? Yeah, it has nothing to do with American history, but why not have it on the dollar bill? I'd rather see the pyramid than past presidents on our dollar bills. So I'm okay with that. But why is it on there? I think it's to lure people in, because a lot of people love Egypt. They love the lure of Egypt. So I get it. How did NASA lose the footage of the moon landing? It's probably one of the most important moments for humanity. That one's, I don't believe that we landed on the moon in the first place. I mean, it looked fake as shit when they first showed the footage. Like, if you go back and watch the History Channel and you see the footage, it just doesn't look real. It doesn't look believable. It looks staged. So I didn't even know they lost the footage of the moon landing, but I guess they did. I don't know. I've seen it before, and it looks fake. They probably lost it again because people would realize, they would break it apart, especially with today's social media. They would break down the videos. There'd be 1,000 YouTube videos breaking down the landing on the moon. That's why it's lost all of a sudden. This next is a follow-up to that question. Why did we never go to the moon again? I actually didn't realize we didn't go to the moon again. I thought we did after. I don't know. I don't pay attention to NASA. I love the idea of landing on the moon, or us as humans going to another planet, but it's probably not going to happen in my lifetime, our lifetime right now. And if it does, it's going to only be the rich that land on the moon and create communities on the moon, create houses, create cities. We're not going to. Us normal people, it's not going to happen unless there's a total threat to the Earth. Or we know it, like a year from now, the Earth's going to explode or something, you know? That's the only. Us normal people don't have to worry about that. So yeah, why did we never go to the moon again? I don't know. I didn't realize we didn't. We think we could with the technology we have, but I guess not. I don't know. It's kind of shady. Yeah, so that's a good question. Here's another Egyptian question. Why are there pictures in ancient Egyptian art that appear to represent spaceships? To me, this is another simple one. Well, not simple. Okay. To me, it's simple because how many times do they mention aliens in Egypt? There's a show on the History Channel or whatever station called Ancient Aliens, and it's about this because they think that if there are aliens, that they were helping the Egyptians build these things, or maybe the Egyptians were aliens. I don't know, because we cannot explain them building these structures so precisely when supposedly they didn't have the technology we have now. But in retrospect, nowadays, I think they actually had really good technology. And maybe it got lost over the years, and we finally got it back now. But even now, I don't think we have the technology to build these precise structures, these structures that last thousands of years. Most structures we build in America, they don't last 100 years. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's why there's spaceships, or they were obsessed with aliens. Maybe they saw spaceships and they just drew the artwork there. That was like their storytelling back then. Okay, this next one, I think this is a kind of interesting question. Why are remains and pictures of giant people, okay, giants, why are remains and pictures of giants found? And why is it that various ancient scriptures speak of giants of different cultures, including the Bible? I personally never read the Bible. Probably not going to read the Bible. But giants, this could be, I did see some things about giant skeletons. I mean, there could have been giants at one point, or we just could have been taller at one point. See, the thing is, what we're led to believe, which I still believe, is we've grown throughout the thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, because the food's different. We're bigger people now than we were when there was cavemen, okay? So maybe there were bigger people when we were super short, so we thought of them as giants. Maybe that's why they speak of giants in different cultures, including the Bible. It could have just been normal-sized people, and they were just shorter. Next question here. Why are there depictions of dragons all over the world? I love dragons. I love the lore of dragons. Reminds me of Skyrim. Anyways, so why are there depictions of dragons all over the world and in different cultures thousands of years apart? And again, it's also mentioned in the Bible. I think folklore. I think we have always been obsessed as humans with creatures, or what's a word for it? We've always been obsessed with these out-of-the-box creatures, like a dragon, like Loch Ness Monster, like Bigfoot. And the Bible, to me, the Bible is just story. It's a story that's been told generations through generations. It's changed. It's almost like reading to me, it's a fiction book, okay? It's not a real thing. It's a bunch of stories. But yeah, I think people are obsessed with dragons because they're fucking cool. They look cool. They breathe fire. They fly. So I can see why we're obsessed with that. We're obsessed with dragons, or we're obsessed with dinosaurs, so why not be obsessed with dragons? This next question, I feel like it's kind of loaded, but I'm going to give a simple answer because to me this is simple. Why is there so much bold demonic symbolism in the music and entertainment industry? So movies, music, gaming, I guess, television. To me, it's shock value. You really think I listen to a lot of Marilyn Manson. People judge him. They think he's fucking satanic because he wears makeup and sings about evil shit in his songs, but he's very intelligent. He's doing it because it's shock value. We've been doing shock value in music since the 70s, 60s. Look at Kiss. They put on makeup to shock people. I mean, you got Alice Cooper acted the way he did to shock people. Ozzy Osbourne did it. Marilyn Manson does it. It's all just for shock value. I don't believe that Marilyn Manson believes in the devil. He just does it to sell because people like badass shit. It's plain and simple answer for me. I mean, you guys might have different answers, but that's my easy answer for me. Why is alcohol and tobacco featured in almost all shows and movies? I kind of talked about this before with every show has to have a homosexual person, one or more homosexual people in each show or movie. For alcohol and tobacco, I don't see tobacco as much nowadays. I mean, if we're talking like 90s or early 2000s, And before, yeah, because smoking cigarettes was cool. Nowadays, I mean, people vape, but I don't really see vapes in movies anymore. I think tobacco's almost gone out of movies. There's more weed than tobacco in movies. Alcohol, yeah, that's always going to be in movies because that's a social thing. You can't make a show or a movie and not have people socializing with alcohol. Like, that wouldn't be realistic, you know? I mean, it's a level of realism, especially here in America. If we are more advanced and informed than ever before, why do we have the highest rates of obesity, cancer, and heart problems, not to mention depression? Well, we talk about depression a lot on this show. I do a lot of mental health. To speak for depression, to be advanced and informed really, yeah, it helps you with depression, but your mind goes there. Like, you can't control depression 100%. You can control 80% of it, 70%, 90%. But your brain brings you there. It's a mental disorder. We could fight it. Yeah, we could fight anything for the most part. But being advanced and informed, no. To fight depression, you have to have people in place. You have to have, well, podcasts, first off. You have to have something to resort to and listen to when you're feeling down. You need advice. Of course, we all need advice. I don't care who you are. Elon Musk needs advice. We all seek advice. But being advanced and informed, why do we have the highest rates of depression? Probably because of social media. I mean, bullies. Here, I'll go through the list. Bullies. Social media is a bully for the most part. They only put out negative stuff. You see bullying in movies. Your own friends bully you. Family members bully you. Anybody that thinks they're better than you, they bully you. Yeah, it fucking sucks. Believe me. I was bullied a couple times in school. Not as much as most, but I was bullied. It really does suck. But what are you going to do? So I'll get to the second part of this. So again, the question was, if we are more advanced and informed than ever before, why do we have the highest rates of obesity, cancer, and heart problems? I already talked about the depression. Obesity is easy. In America, we have so many different variations of cultured food. We have Japanese food. We have Chinese food. We have Thai food. We have Mexican food. We have any kind of food. We have Polish food. I love food, okay? So I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here, but I fucking love the food in America. Is a lot of it bad for you? Hell yeah. Is it delicious? Fuck yeah. Okay? So we're gonna keep consuming it. We don't count our calories for the most part. Some people do. I don't, personally. If I'm on a diet, I'm just gonna try to eat less than I normally would. I'm not gonna stuff my face. But man, there's so much good food out there. That's why we're obese. Well, and the additives too. I mean, we add a lot of bullshit to our meat and processed foods. But for the most part, we generally fucking love food. I get so happy when I'm eating. That's why it was always hard for me to keep a solid weight. I've done it recently in my older age now, in my late 30s, but it was hard to do when I was young. It's hard to do now. Just so much good food. That's why the obesity rate's so high. We have delicious food from every different culture in America. All right, this is my last question for this live. Let me share more. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying actually answering these questions. I love them. That's why I copied them and figured I'd use them on the show. Okay, let me post this link real quick. Sorry for the really quick delay here, but yeah, originally I was on YouTube doing this live for 4 minutes, but my connection was fucking up and my frames sucked on my video, so I have to upgrade my computer in order to go live on video, unless it's a little TikTok or something, but I usually do those on my phone anyways. All right, last questions. Last question. If monkeys have evolved into humans, why are monkeys still monkeys? I'm going to take a drink before this one. All right. If monkeys have evolved into humans, why are monkeys still monkeys? As crazy as I may sound here, I'm of the opinion that we didn't actually evolve from monkeys. I think we've been here longer than the historians claim, the scientists and historians. I think we've been here longer. I don't know how the fuck we evolved, honestly, but I think we've been here. We could talk about how the world started for fucking years, okay? We're never gonna know. We could only guess. We could get scientists that guess, historians that guess, but we'll never fucking know unless we find some crazy scripture that tells us how long we were here, okay? Which is never gonna happen. It's one of the beautiful things about life. We don't know how we got here. We don't know why we're still here. We don't understand the complete human anatomy or the body. Like, why do we have parts inside of our body that we don't need? Okay? Like parts that could be taken out of us and we're fine. Why? If there is a God, why did he put unnecessary parts in our body? If our body is supposed to be this machine, why can we take out parts of our body and be like fine with it? Okay? Like, why? It doesn't make sense. So I don't think we evolved from monkeys. I think monkeys have been around forever. We've been around forever. And that's that. It's just a cycle. It's an on and on cycle. So lastly, I wanted to talk about, well, a couple things here. I want to talk about the American Nightmare documentary that just came out on Netflix. I think yesterday it released. It was either yesterday or today, but I think it was last night it released on Netflix. It's a true story. If any of you have seen the movie Gone Girl with Ben Affleck or read the book Gone Girl, you know, the woman, his wife, disappeared, faked her death to get out of the marriage. So this documentary is about a case that authorities thought happened. So in the middle of the night, I don't think they were husband and wife. Now I can't remember. That's bad. I think they were just boyfriend and girlfriend, okay? Yeah, they were boyfriend and girlfriend, okay? In this documentary. So in I believe it was 2015, in the middle of the night, this dude's girlfriend was taken in the bed next to him. He was tied up. They put goggles on him, forced him on his back. He said they came in with scuba gear, and they took his girlfriend away. Okay? So fast forward, he, for some reason, waits till the morning to call authorities, to call 911. And they bring him in for questioning. And he's telling his side of the story, which sounds fucking loony at the time, because he's talking about men coming in with flashlights and guns with lasers and taking his girlfriend, but leaving him there tied up. Okay? So he says the reason he didn't call in the first, but like right when it happened, is because he was tied up. He had to get out of his knots and make the phone call. So they're questioning him, and you could tell immediately they're against him. Okay, the cops think he killed his girlfriend, and he's coming up with this fucking stupid story. So fast forward to 2 weeks later. I think it's 2 weeks total. It might have been less, might have been more. His girlfriend gets released by the captives, the supposed captives, and comes back home. And they're like, what the fuck? Did she fake this? So now they're kind of thinking that both of these guys, or this guy and girl, boyfriend and girlfriend, worked together to fake a kidnapping, which makes no sense because they got no money out of it. And then we end up finding out that there's a fucking serial rapist and like this guy that's breaking into homes in California. And he's been doing it for years. So they, this one of the cops, the detectives, it's a she she goes after. Well, they end up finding that this really smart dude who's in his 30s has been going around raping girls, breaking into homes and raping girls for years. Okay, something Mueller is his name. So they find all this stuff in the trunk of his Mustang. They raid his house and they find stuff in his Mustang. They find the goggles that were used and the hand ties and all that in the trunk of his Mustang. And they find this little piece of blonde hair. So now at the same time, while they find this blonde hair, the girl that was abducted, and she was raped twice while she was under the, I don't want to say under the care, but while she was abducted and hiding in this cabin and being forced to have sex with this man. So they found a little piece of her hair on these goggles. And the cops think this girl was making all this shit up for some reason. The detective brings the hair to the forensics in the police station for the department, and it matches the chick that was abducted for 2 weeks. And they bring down this guy. Like, it's a crazy documentary, because this whole time you're thinking, because I thought the husband was making, or the boyfriend was making up the story the whole time, but it turns out he was telling the truth. And it's a fucking crazy documentary. If you love documentaries, give this a watch on Netflix. It's called American Nightmare. Brilliantly directed and produced. Just the way they set it up was perfect. They showed the boyfriend's perspective first in the first episode. The second episode was the girl's perspective, and the third episode was them bringing down the serial rapist and kidnapper. It was really cool. I mean, obviously it's a sad case, but it was a happily ever after. Okay, the boyfriend and girlfriend are married now, after 8 years. So it has a happy ending, which most true crime documentaries don't. So I highly suggest that show. One more thing. So starting, I believe next week will be the first episode. Me and Dave Reby. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for years. I worked with him for years. He's going to be a regular fixture on the PITA podcast. We're going to do a whole co-host. I mean, just 2 co-hosts. We're going to do a weekly episode where we talk about news stories, where we talk about one main topic too. So we'll start off with the news stories that we are interested in. We'll talk about that for a few minutes. Then we'll move on to the main topic. And then to finish up the episode, we will do a Q&A, either a live Q&A or questions we gathered throughout the week from our friends and listeners. So that's coming up. I'm also going to jump onto probably a new platform eventually here, probably next month. So I'm not really happy with the platform I'm on. It does some good stuff well, but it's far behind in the other things. So I need to push this podcast along because I want to give my all, and I don't feel like I can do it on the platform I'm on. So there's going to be some changes. Good changes, though. Not bad. I also got to push myself. There's times I fall into a funk, a depression. When my kids aren't here, I fall into a funk. I'm not going to lie about that. So I'm going to fix that. We're going to get this shit done. We're going to be here to inform and entertain and to help you guys out, especially with mental health. I'm still going to keep talking about mental health because that shit doesn't go away. All right. Really appreciate you guys listening to this live. Like I said, there's going to be more pre-recorded episodes coming out very soon. So stay tuned. Follow me on Facebook on the PITA Joe podcast page. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok under PITA Joe podcast. I'm all over the place. Okay. On Twitter or X. So yeah, find me on there. All right. As always, stay positive.